for me because I'm slightly favoring this not going all the way after what we saw so far and just how Nora-Rengo haven't looked as collected as I would expect from them.
Yeah, it seems like, again, they're relying on that individual aspect of their team more than the teamwork that got them to where they are currently. I still think Coastline is a map that will favor them, honestly, with their aggression and their ability to make those individual plays. I think Penta will have to be extremely cautious of their surroundings at all times because at any given moment, a member of Nora-Rengo might just be jumping out a window, a door, or a balcony. Try and claim your life early. So, a Glaz and a Ying ban.
Well, there's the ban against Hungary, finally. This is a map that he kind of made it famous, though. More so than Oregon.
Also, Hungary wasn't even playing Ying last game on Oregon, even though it was available to him. So, obviously, flexing his flexibility.
Well,
speaking of flexing, there goes Valk, and Echo was also the third ban.
Well, that's two intel operators, as we like to call them, off the board. Of course, Maestro's still available, so that is going to be a huge play as part of this. But it also means you're going to see some of those black mirrors as well, potentially. So attacks are going to have to be very careful in terms of making sure they know, do they have those set up? Is anyone playing behind them? Is there the evil eyes? Which way are they facing? That initial intel into an execute means executes cannot be super fast either, because you got to know what you're walking into, but it also means saving utility to take care of them. Amonte possibly coming up from Waka. It is sometimes foolish to bring those. There you go. The 6th pick off of it is going to trick them. Hookah will be interesting here. First defense. Although, I got to say, of all the bomb sites to bring Amonte, Hookah actually might be a decent one to set up for that plant because the default plant spot is so predictable when it comes to planting that. The ability to block that with a Montane shield actually could be the thing that saves your planter's life. Assuming they don't just smoke clip through the wall, I suppose, from behind the minibar.
Yeah, I imagine we might be seeing a little bit of that, and that's unfortunate, but...
It's effective, it certainly is, and
it works.
You certainly want to take advantage of predictability in plant spots and punish them for it, really. We will see a Jackal play, though, so it should be a little more difficult for Ravon to be able to kind of do his thing in terms of hanging out if his footprints are caught, as he is likely to be playing possibly below to stop a pool table plant, maybe even a default spot as well.
Attackers recovered the diffuser. Attackers' objective
You're in a do-or-die situation here if you are Nora-Rengo, so getting off to a good start. I think it'll be aided by the fact that they're on attack first on Coastline, a map that has traditionally trended attacker favored, but right now everything is defender sided, so
it certainly is.
We'll see how the balance weighs out in this one. I won't really give any predictions away at that point as to how many rounds they'll likely get, because this is a whole new ballpark with a whole new meta compared to the last time that Coastline was extremely attacker favored.
Well, as far as last map goes, though, it did show the favoritism towards Penta on defense. They were a little bit more, I'd say, smart in the way they played their defenses in terms of reading into the way the attacks were coming down and adapting to them, whereas we didn't see that from Nora-Rengo, who got caught with their pants down a couple times in a row. So if that trend continues here, that could be a problem. And we see Mario again playing what would normally be a Walk as well. And Walk, interestingly, on Thatcher. We do see plenty of Thatchers that frag out, though. Laxing be one that comes to mind, for example. So it won't be the biggest deal here, and he's going to take that Evil Eye out. Not sure if there's another one still here, because that's both his breaching rounds. If there's another Evil Eye, that could be a real problem on the execute. They do have some smokes from Papilli on the Jackal, but they will be seen right through, potentially.
Well, Blaz taking a lot of damage immediately, but will manage to salvage his life in the process. And I imagine that's him. It might not actually be him playing inside of Hookah, unless he's the silhouette and an SMG-11 in hand. It looks like he's actually hungry. So, Revon will actually be the first casualty. Blaz is playing down below. Ramu will tack on onto Hungry. So there goes your smoke and your pulse. Two great operators at denying plant. Papilia and Mario will be shredded by the Alda. Going for 3 now with Sir Boss. Twisting in the wind is Ramu. So claim the life of enemy through the wall. Flicking back. And Sir Boss with the Bailiff will win it out. So suddenly down to a 2v2. Health advantage strongly on the side of Nora-Rengo. even now after Blaz gets the kill onto Waka. An errant nitro cell will not connect on the intended target. Diffuser on the dead body, playing by Vase. Flashes out towards the top of Cool Vibe stairs. Bearing 9 in hand. There you go. Back to the Type 89. Ballsy decision to whip out the bearing in a clutch situation like this, but sprinting straight towards the stairs. And Blaz will be the saving grace for Penta as they secure round number 1 off a flurry of trades back and forth directly on the objective about halfway through the round.
I gotta wonder where the rest of the team was in terms of support when they were taking Hookah. That was such a great take. One of the biggest problems we always see, the reason teams have to plant default spot is because they gain no control of Hookah side. They often don't even pressure from the tarps into window or anything like that. They just try and pressure from Aqua into the billiards room and then go for a plant via smokes. That was a great, because yes, there are VODs available, but there's something to be said about being within the same region to know what they're going to do. And there is that 6th pick. Was going to be to Doc for a second there, but it is going to be over to Pulse. But we're going to sneak Waka in on the ability to make some phone hacks. See what he can do from there. And see if that leads to maybe a little bit of extra aggression. It is interesting to see an aggressive player, though, picking Yokobi, just because the DMR, not going to be a super aggressive indoors weapon. But if you're very comfortable with the CZ, you can use it. But like the SMG-11, you're going to have to reload that pretty fast. So it's not like the R4C where you're going to go around maybe popping a couple heads even before you need to reload. So it is risky to have a player like Waka doing that, I think, especially if he's playing kind of an entry role. Whereas, you know, you've got Maryu taking up that role yet again. Who knows, maybe they'll be working in tandem or possibly backing it up with the Jackal to get some footprints to combine with the phone calls, see if they can clear out as much as possible, as soon as possible. Get some of that early map control. But it looks like we did switch bomb sites over to... Wait, is that switched over to Penthouse?
No, still kitchen.
Okay, it's just looking through it, and they're setting up in Penthouse there.
Yep. This
which
is a pretty old setup.
It's not unusual, of course, to set up in Penthouse because you want to defend above it. But sometimes from the overhead view, you can't tell because of the outlines. So, see how they're going to do this. Of course, Maryu a little bit concerned about those boards being open because, well, he didn't open them. And like I said, it is difficult to deal with anyone in that security office, which is kind of what he's facing to. Or someone sitting more in that lobby, possibly behind the desk, which looks more like what we might be seeing Sir Boss doing.
It is Sir Boss on the Maestro, who's checking cams out behind the Lambo desk. Yeah, that or just to the left of it, looking to take some engagements. And yeah, he's just on the left-hand side behind the cabinet corner. That's
pretty exposed, though, when he could be a bit further behind the desk. So, interesting choice of positioning.
He's also just there sitting on cams for a majority of the time. He's now gotten off them as Waka's drone will approach its way down the CCTV hallway, and this wooden barricade preset by the defenders will be a telltale sign. A nice little audio cue. And it seems like a lot of pre-fires in through the blue bar window were enough to scare Sir Boss back to sight, but nonetheless, he's evacuated his former position in behind that main desk as Waka's drone completely missed that he was ever there.
Yeah, unfortunate, a little bit late on that intel. Interesting, too, that Waka's going to be running with the SMG-12, where you got to be running that pretty close range because, unlike the CZ, it's not very controllable anymore. It is difficult. Maryu, though, in the meantime, actually has taken a little bit of damage, and Revan the one to get fully punished for that by Papilia. So we're going a little bit in the favor of Nora-Rengo, as that is a C4 and additional intel off the board with the Pulse dead.
You can see that giant hole made by Maryu on that kitchen wall, so now opening up for the default plant spot inside of the kitchen. You see Racel spotting out the Evil Eyes. It's a 3-man stack, and Ramu will come in and support and use the impact off the lifeline. Now it's up to enemy to rotate into the waiting arms of Waka. I guess that's what it's all up to him for. 2 in the main lobby, 3 pressing from Sunrise. It's a bad look here for Penta to try and weather this storm approaching. Blaz will take first engagement out in the main lobby up against Waka. Smoke grenade will disrupt the purview of the mirror, but Blaz will win out against Waka with the 416. Could go for a flank CC or deal with the other member, Maryu, who's now rotated all the way to the service doorway. Racel attempting a plant in default, and Ramu will chew right through Blaz on an attempted flank. Maryu coming in the backside through service door. Leaves just Sir Boss alone in a 1v4, playing the same mirror that they all know where he was before. And everyone on Nora-Rengo backs out and hold off.
Nope. We'll see. Nope, I was going to say we'll see if Sir Boss can take this back, but yeah, that was hopeless at that point, unfortunately. Might have been able to take down one with him, but nice execution, though, overall by Nora-Rengo.
Good job dismantling whatever was available of the roam game for Penta, slowly picking it apart, and then cordoning off sections of the map. A good flank hold there from Waka, stopping the attempted rotate back, and we got another tech issue.
Uh-oh, something's going on with Mario here. So we see the weight issue in there. PC crash, unfortunately. That is definitely going to set us back at least a good 30 seconds or more. As hopefully that was just the application crashing and not the entire PC, of course. That would be much longer reset. We are going to see them go to bar next, though. Players do, as hard as that is to say, to believe, rather. So luckily, it looks like we are back into the game, though, as you do not see it yet. But we are getting the let's go, have fun's coming out as everyone gets ready to pick the same operators again and make sure they're good to do so. So we have no issues there. People going to go for the same 6 picks because you do not want to reveal what you 6 picked to. So you're still going to do the pick and then the 6th pick.
Blue bar and Sunrise bar defense. So it seems like Penthouse still remains the pariah of defensive sites on coastline.
I got to imagine Blaza's 6th pick is meant to hide that, make them think they are going to be playing on Penthouse when they're not necessarily. So some good strategy in there. A lot of times 6 picks are used to do that to help disguise bomb sites. When there are certain operators that make sense to be played on certain bomb sites, you can indicate that falsely.
Seems like a pretty typical setup, at least from the early onset here by Penta, but typical reinforcements coming out to protect your cubby, to look in towards blue bar from office. The office wall, whether it's reinforced or not, that's been a pretty common debate. We usually blow open, and Blaz is going to reinforce that wall into office from blue bar, but you blow open the wall into courtyard, you make a rotation hole, exactly where Hungary just crouch walk through and put some barbed wire in front of. You got a couple holes up top on your cubby wall to launch some nitros or toxic babes over that hole and stop a plant in behind the bar, and then it all comes down to a Sunrise push at that point because you don't really want to deal with the 3-way crossfire and utility dump that you're in a rude awakening for if you try to get to that blue bar plant.
It isn't. Okay. Ooh, that was punished. Just trying to get the default cam cost you half your life. The predictability, and that is something you see from a lot of players, just trying to get the initial steps checked off early. They will do things in very predictable ways. One that comes to mind is the east stairwell camera on border. Teams very typically going and shooting the through the barricade the same way. Could even be punished by people creeping up east stairwell if it's not properly droned. In this case, Mario, he's only going to go down to half health, not the worst possible scenario to be in. But when you want to be an entry frag, you need to be at full health if you want to be of the most use to your team. Ramu, though, is going to take even more punishment, Blaz, having taken a little bit as well.
It's a good fight back and forth between Blaz and Mariu now, and Ramu. He's contesting all of this 3-man push from Nora-Rengo on the top side. A 4th man of Ramu coming on the Hookah balcony, but it was Papilia, Raysil, and Mariu all pushing over from VIP balcony over, and they'll utilize one set of X-Kairos to pop open the reinforcement that was utilized to try and protect anyone in the hallway on their rotations. Blaz, though, playing the first victim of the round onto Ramu. There goes your Thatcher. Not the biggest deal, but the mute jammers could prove to be quite a pain in the backside for Nora-Rengo, and not having that Thatcher will be enormous late round.
And there's certainly a chance that some of those phone calls might not even connect with the phones due to those mute jammers that are likely to be sitting in place now that you've lost the Thatcher EPs. But Mariu is going to punish despite the lack of health onto enemy, evening things out here for the most part.
Jackal track coming out to one of the defenders of Penta over inside of office. He was right below Mariu, and Papilia was pushing into CCTV office to try and contest that. So now a double stacking. You see how the ping's still coming out downstairs onto that member of Penta. Hold up inside of office. Papilia slowly encroaching towards the doorway, and the retreat coming out, as I imagine that would be Blaz or Ravon. Now more Jackal pings coming out onto the original defenders. They'll swap over to, I believe that's Blaz, downstairs, and Mario just scanning the horizon up top, making sure no one is going for any rotations. But we now approach 30 seconds remaining, and here comes a flank coming, it appears to be from Blaz, sprinting towards that stairwell again, and Mario shut down. An immediate trade by Papilia, though, onto Ravon, and there are 18 seconds for Nora-Rengo to try and get this plant off. More smokes come raining in, and Raysil makes it in behind the bar. An attempt with the Toxic Babe choking him out. Impacts come in, and finally. He'll be shut down now by Blaz on a vault over 2 for Waka with the SMG-12. Serbas left alone, but no one has picked up the diffuser and no one has attempted the plant. They're going for the kill, and Papilia! Oh my god, the last second kill!
I honestly did not see Nora-Rengo winning that. Fantastic play. That was an over-aggressive peek when they did not have enough time. You have 80 bullets. Fire from a more covered position. Absolute mistake made by Penta there, gifting the round over to Nora-Rengo.
That was...
That was such a good round for Penta too, leading up to that.
That's a tough one if you're Penta. That's the tilter right there.
Yeah, that is certainly something you need to just quickly erase from your mind, or that might easily cost you the following round just on mental stress alone. Hopefully not too much anger or blame coming out on that, but you're certainly going to be feeling it, even if no one says anything to you. You're going to be hurting, sitting down, kicking yourself in the butt.
Yeah, if you're Serbas on that one, you might want to rethink your entire mental strategy for this game.
Yeah.
That was the freest sit in a corner and don't die moment, and you're a hero.
Yeah. Blaz, the only one showing up with kills there, but that is, of course, because we have the rehost, so you must keep that in mind when you look at the scoreboard after that. That while the round counts may be reflected by the rehost, the scores, the individual kills, and things like that will not be put back in place. So, just goes to show who was somewhat the hero of that particular round, but not overall. Serbas doing a bit of a sloppy remodel, but I guess that's what you get for a pistol shotgun.
Attackers have recovered
back to kitchen, Penta will go. Quite unsuccessful. I'm surprised they're not reattempting the blue bar, sunrise bar defense. Honestly, that should have been a win. It came down to one dude not sitting in the corner long enough.
I like Mary you being a bit more careful this time.
Yeah, I mean, man, Blaz was having a good time on the roam game. Kitchen didn't end well. It came down to a 1v4 for Serbas again, and that didn't end well either. So. Kitchen defense, a little suspect. Maybe they think they can make a few changes, but definitely their blue bar, sunrise bar defense as far as their roaming potential and their top control from Blaz, showing a lot more promise than what we've seen on Kitchen so far.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how this goes down when they reattempt Kitchen, because it's like they're not reattempting the last one they failed, they're reattempting the one before that they failed. That, like you said, was a much better attack from Nora-Rengo. It's got to be down to them thinking they saw some weakness in the attack they can exploit, or some predictability.
Clearing the way.
But so far, it's looking like Nora-Rengo still being just as efficient on this approach. No one punishing them. Despite the attempts here coming out from theater, they are opening up the angles. So the defenders of Penta are going to have to play this smart, but they are putting some hurt onto Ramu in the meantime. And unfortunately, the enemy, the one punch. Oh! Waka just sending Blaz into the next world.
That's what we're talking about when we say Nora-Rengo are some of the most mechanically gifted players in the world, to immediate, devastating kills, and honestly, you're getting style points for both of those. Ramu's taking a lot of damage in his engagement, but Waka continues to run for Nora-Rengo, and Serbas completely asleep at the wheel right now. Will have to move away from the evacuated floorboards above his head, thanks to Raysil carrying the diffuser. So Hungry and Serbas in a 2v5, not unlike the last time they defended this objective, although Hungry with a great shot with the SMG-11 long range, down to 2 HP though, needs to turn the corner with a pre-fire, but no, Papilia and Ramu will round things out. Nora-Rengo, 2 consecutive rounds, and honestly, Penta probably shouldn't have gone back to Kitchen.
Yeah, we were talking about whether or not this was attacker-sided or not. Well, it does look like it's attacker-sided at the moment. Again, that was most...
Let's be real, though. It should be 2-2.
It should be 2-2, and that was what I was going to say, is it's only seeming to be attacker-sided for Kitchen, because Bar was kind of thrown away, unfortunately, and they could even go back and try Bar again right now, just to give themselves a little bit of buffer on Hookah, but instead, they are going to just go back to Hookah. As you mentioned, it's seeming like Penta not wanting to mess with Penthouse, even though they certainly could do so. It's just, I mean, in some ways it is a hard bomb site to attack in the sense that you have limited approaches, but the defenders themselves also are limited in the positions they could be sitting in, so, you know, it's kind of 50-50 in that sense. I gotta wonder, though, will we see them take the Hookah side on attack as efficiently as they did last time? And if so, will the rest of the members of Nora-Rengo be there to back up the attack and quickly turn that into a plant? Or will it just be a slow slugfest pushing from Aqua through billiards like we often see from many teams? Kind of more the traditional style attack.
Well, last time this round, or this objective was played, was the very first round of this map, and that also was a clown fiesta when it comes to trades and nonsense and anarchy inside the objective. It was basically just a straightforward gut punch coming out from Nora-Rengo, trying to immediately bust their way into the site and clear out as fast as possible, and it ended up in a 1v2 for Ray still to work his way out of, and he was unsuccessful in doing so, so he gifted Penta their only round on this map.
Yeah. I gotta imagine that it is entirely within the realm of possibility that Nora-Rengo can win this attack, given how they attacked it previously, and given how their attacks have been much more coordinated on this map than we just saw on Oregon, seeming like this is just a better map for them because, well, it is their map pick. So it is seeming to be, when it comes down to your map pick between these two teams, the attacks are much more confident from the team that has picked that map.
Also, if you're Penta in this scenario, you desperately want to win this round. Not only to make up for the one you threw away, which would have put you in a tie, but a 4-1 lead is pretty difficult to overcome. Granted, on a map like Coastline that typically is attacker favored and they're on the defense, yeah, you can make some arguments. But 3-round deficit, all it takes is one mistake when you're on your attacking rounds, and all of a sudden it's an entirely different ball game. Your one map advantage evaporates, and you've got to go all the way the distance at closing in on 11 p.m. when people have probably been here for about 12 to 15 hours already.
Yeah, pretty sure at some point they're just going to lock the doors and we are going to sleep here.
Attackers have located a bomb.
The exhaustion must be setting in, and I imagine if you're Penta, that's got to be some pretty good motivation to try and get this thing over with.
Yeah, I bet they wish they were on attack so they could push in more aggressively right now. Speaking of which, though, nice job by Mary with the Ash right on in on Sir Boss. That's a great initial kill. Means now those Evil Eyes cannot rotate to stop some more of these smokes, but that is one of the only 2 smokes already used.
See the control at the top. Cool vibes. An enemy will rip out and take down Mario in a trade, but there's another one at Vase. Papilia carrying the diffuser. A lot of missed shots towards Cool Vibes stairs and then get shredded in the backside because of it. The 460. No, enemy! What a great third shot. Trying to go for 4 and it won't land. Pre-fires towards the top of the Vase. Down to 5 HP. It's a 3v2 favoring Penta now. No diffuser control. Currently in a cloud of toxic smoke at the hands of Hungry. It's a beautiful spot to be in for Penta to try and secure this round. Rotations from Waka at the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs. That was the last Toxic Babe expended. Down to the last 30 seconds. Enemy on extremely low HP and not catching the rotation directly in front of that punch hole. Ravon going for a long flank through luggage as well. They're surrendering a lot of control. Rama, who's recovered the diffuser, and Waka and Rama will regroup at the top of Cool Vibe stairs. 15 seconds and they push their way into the back of Billiards. Split push. Waka will claim the life of enemy. Ramu trying to put the plant down inside of Billiards with the cover of Waka just on the left-hand side of Hungry. He's going to stand up right beside him, completely unaware. What a great flick from Hungry. Planting in behind the bar. Oh my, the whiff! But finally, Ramu will get down by the shotgun. Not even going to try and withstand, and Hungry will clutch things out. Assess the situation, counter, defuse, and Penta steal one back and just a gong show of a round.
Unfortunately for Nora-Rengo, Hungry, definitely one of the best smoke players there is. And for that very reason, a big part of this is shotgun play and the way he plays off that. It's not just about the smokes for him, it's about the way he uses the weapons and the way he plays very smartly to defend for his team. But that definitely was very close to the diffuser getting planted. Certainly possible we could have seen that go Nora-Rengo again, but so far that has been the story of that bomb site, where it is always close for them, but not quite something they can win. But that means they've got to switch back to bar again. Like you said, they probably could have tried that again earlier and might have been more successful on it without, I don't know, making some misplays at the end of their round. Entirely possible we go to the side switch with a 3-3 scenario, much like we did last map, because these two teams, much like the Liquid and Mocket, are very, very balanced between the two, it seems.
Honestly, it's been... no one can get more than a 2-round lead as far as maps are concerned, and it makes for very close games, but very back-and-forth games, and no one really running away with a little bit of momentum and being able to take control of a game. They're always long, long games with a lot of rounds behind them.
I think that's the story of group stages, and that's been the story of group stages since Paris as well, is just a lot of cutthroat competition. I really hope this time, this level of competition, this insane level of competition we're seeing, carries over into the stage matches, because I don't know, I've been very, very impressed, and I love having a week of this after a super month, just because so much good siege, not just filler siege, great siege, and at an international level now.
So, returning to the place of the throw for Penta, Blue Bar and Sunrise Bar, a reattempt here on their final defensive round in this map, lest we go overtime. Racel again making his entry towards the VIP balcony, a very commonplace entry for him, and he again continues to make this rotate in from the bathroom by Hall of Fame into Hall of Fame, just to allow for easier angle assessment for anyone playing over inside of Penthouse. There was a man who looked like Enemy at the top of the theater stairs, but no, Enemy's in behind the bar. That's Blas, who's now rotated his way into theater. Wow, he did not last very long. But Billy was shred right through him, reading Blas like a book. And Blas was crucial last time around in holding this down. Enemy is taking a lot of damage behind the hookah bar as well. So this roam game that was so dominant and so cutthroat and so smothering last time around for Penta, it's basically done nothing but lose so far, and they're attempting a reset onto Enemy as he's being jackal tracked downstairs as Hungary repeatedly picks up his Toxic Babe, whips it at Enemy in the groin area, and picks it right back up. Enemy set back to 50, still constantly on a jackal ping, but Nora-Rengo know they have complete top control now, and this is what they didn't even have at any point last round, was confirmed top control. They're going to be awaiting a flank, most likely, but no one from Penta attempting to stretch out and acquire any more map control. The first set of phone calls will ring out, and this will signal the first stage of pushing towards a site execute for Nora-Rengo now. Got Hungary still inside of Cubby, waiting to be the real linchpin in this, as if his Toxic Babes cannot last throughout the end portion of the round, they're going to have a bad time trying to repel this plant attempt. The ceiling will now be destroyed above the Sunrise Bar, and that's currently where Sir Boss is playing once again, looking skyward to try and counteract any malicious force coming through those holes, and Hungary will get caught looking at the sky, staring into the stars, daydreaming away, and he gets killed for it. And there go those Toxic Babes, meant to repel the ingress of a push coming, but Sir Boss will at least trade out Waka in the process. Ravon still holding the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs, waiting for this push. And looks like Mario is being just unprecedentedly patient right now. Up against some barbed wire, and take some shots from Enemy, and Ravon will win that. Whipping out the shotgun now, the ping's coming out, and he'll down off another one. Ramu will fall in succession, leaving it all up to Racel, firing in, but there's no time, there's no breach hole. He's gonna have to push through an open doorway into the waiting arms of 3 members of Penta as he gets zapped away by the Evil Eye on 2 HP. A great flick, take down the Evil Eye, but Penta will clean it, and we level at 3-3. Heading into the half, and if you're Penta, you feel good about that, but you also got to kick yourself, remembering that it could have been 4-2.
Absolutely, and that is really the way that it should have gone last time on Bar. You saw the much more patient defense that time. Yeah, they were maybe over-peaking a little bit, but that was in a 3v1 situation or 2v1. They weren't down to just the last man standing peeking necessarily. You saw the Maestro, for example, on his Evil Eye instead of over-peeking himself, and hey, why not peek with something that when it dies you don't lose the round? That's the way to do it. So fantastic play by them to close it out with that 3-3. And last time there was a 3-3 on last map. Who won? Penta. Certainly could go that way. I don't know. I want to see how this first attack comes out from Penta to see if they have that confidence they had on Oregon. If they do, I honestly feel like this could be Penta's to a victory, something I was saying coming out of Oregon. It's looking fairly good for them. But I want to see Nora-Rengo with that confidence on their roams that we saw in Oregon. Whenever they, especially from Mariu and Waka, whenever they had that confident roam, their ability to play around the map, their ability to kind of stay in these vision holes that seem to come out sometimes from Penta, and they're droning and exploit that by just hiding in very good spots. If they can do that again, this could certainly be a close game, and I think it's definitely possible to see this particular map go into overtime just because of mistakes when it comes to droning, and whether or not that will lead to the, I would say, some unnecessary flanks coming out from them. But the IQ, I think, coming out here will help a little bit in terms of spotting some of the utility, but no one on the enemy team is going to be trackable. There's no pulse, there's no vigil, so they're not going to be able to out-spot anyone, except for maybe anyone on their phones, I suppose. But there's no Dokkaebi as well to call anyone to bring that out, so very likely the Jackal's going to have to do a lot of that work outside of gadgets being spotted by Sirboss.
Abilia will start things off hot onto enemy, playing over inside of luggage. Looks like he was just repelling that entry into aquarium. That's exactly where the dead body will lie. As the drone will come out from Sirboss, questioning, quizzical, what the hell happened? Well, you missed him on the drone, and you lose enemy for it. And that's the Twitch, not the most crucial of operator as far as utility is concerned, but fragging power, that F2 will be sorely missed on the side of Penta, who are currently 4 rounds away, sending themselves to the main stage. I imagine they're going to want to try and take an aggressive red right now.
The most important thing I think about an early kill on an operator with a good gun like that is you slow down the attack. We saw how crucial that was for Nora-Rengo on Oregon. Anytime they got slowed down on that aggressive push with their attack, it tended to cost them the round. So hopefully enemy wasn't a huge part of the attack, because we still see at least a lot of the members of Penta pressing ahead regardless. But they're also getting into a lot of potential gunfights. The aggression very much coming out here from Nora-Rengo, and they're not being punished for it. I think, to me, that spells possible defeat for Penta. As not only they lost one player, they have another player at half health, and Nora-Rengo have not taken any damage in return. And again, they take down Blaz as well. This round's all but over for Penta.
Sirboss rushing straight through to his death. If you're Penta, I gotta. Jeez.
I think they're excited.
You think so, eh?
I'm pretty sure that was a round of aggression working out for them, and that just leads to more shouting and less antlers and box faces.
It's funny because it's so late here and it's so quiet in here compared to how it is during the normal day. Yeah. That I can hear them in my left ear when they scream, as well as through the audio. I can
feel them at this point.
Oh yeah.
In terms of those screams.
It's pretty loud. Anyway, that round for Penta, yeah, just a missed drone assignment onto a guy hiding inside of luggage leads to a log jam inside of luggage later on.
What a surprise, like Oregon, missed droning. That seems to be what's costing Penta on their attacks. Maybe they need to spend less time playing aggression and just more time droning thoroughly. Maybe it's just whoever's doing the droning on the team should be tasked to something else.
Well, I hate to call any individual on a team out, but Sirboss has had a pretty forgettable day. Yeah. It was his drone in showers that missed. It was his drone there in luggage that missed. He's been decent. I think he's like 50-50.
Maybe we should demote him to Sir Middle Manager at this point.
Hey, he's had a pretty forgettable day. So, gotta feel bad for him in that instance where he's just screwing up these simple assignments. He also, of course, was the maestro in that infamous
exactly.
1v2 with 0-0.
You already hear windows getting popped by enemy, so even if he dies this round, at least he got something accomplished. That's a great start during the prep phase to lose windows. Unfortunate. It does mean they have some time to adjust to that, I suppose, in terms of repositioning, but okay, better start. Maybe Sirboss, won't mess up the droning this time. Blast did a good job finding a nice drone spot. In a classic ranked casual move, putting the drone on top of the bomb. Showing
if it works, it works.
It certainly does. Even the Evil Eye, which could destroy it right now, isn't spotting it because Waka is too busy manually face-checking and shooting. Had he jumped, if he jumped to the Evil Eye, I'm fairly confident he would spot and shoot that drone.
Well, unfortunately for Penta, they're not garnering much map control or dispelling much of this quite extensive roam game coming up from Nora-Rengo. I believe I see 3 blue silhouettes on the top floor currently. Ramu inside of office, leaving Waka alone on the objective, and I am correct in everything I just said, but now Ramu will make it back to kitchen, hallway-ish, dancing back and forth. So the deployment of personnel here for Nora-Rengo, quite interesting, as they stack 3 bodies upstairs and leave just Waka and Ramu alone on the objective. I
kind of wonder if Ramu, having lost one of his mirrors, just decides, you know what, I'm going to kind of run around a bit more, play more of a pain in the butt instead of more static on defense. And it's interesting that Waka, who'd previously been playing on the Legion, now switched over to a much slower role on the Maestro. So they're definitely changing things up a bit. But Ramu's got to be careful on this, not step up into that. But Raysil, in the meantime, is going to fall. And it's just the castle, not the worst person to lose. But it's certainly not going to help your defense. However, they have burned almost 2 minutes on Rome, which is, I mean, to be fair, that's fine to lose one player doing so.
Well, that's Hungry going off on a solo mission before regrouping with the rest of his team, and that was a common theme we saw yesterday against the stream from Hungry, is that he'd be sent off to do something that seemed nearly impossible, as enemy will claim another victim in Papilia, ripping through him with the F2, making it to survive through the majority of this round, and it's having a pretty good result. Waka has now also been down by an asphyxiating bolt in behind the bar. Mario will come in for the rescue mission, and a Nitro Cell will get tossed across but not connect on anyone on Penta inside of the blue bar. You can see they're all almost at 100 HP. Hungry will slap down another one in Ramu as he tries to retake the blue bar door. Mario now down at the rotates. Last man alive is Waka. Great shot onto enemy's head, but he's got 4 more to find and shot through that open mirror that was opened in prep phase. Serbos redeeming some of his mistakes and closing out the round. We are at a 4-4 scoreline once again. We head into round number 9 on a map, and either team can take this just within arm's reach, but you got to think that Penta really has the momentum, considering if they don't completely botch the round last time and they win the round the first time they defended Blue Bar Sunrise, this is a completely different scoreline and looks dominating the favor of Penta. Well,
unlike Penta, we're going to see Nora-Rengo actually repeat the bar right away and try it again, because overall I think they had an okay defense of it, but I gotta say Penta had a great execute though, in terms of the smoke and the fire.
Penta was 7 milliseconds off winning that round.
Yeah.
Nora-Rengo was never close to winning that round. So
the reason I say that is, had they not lost the mirror, they would have been able to properly defend blue bar. And because you had Ramu trying to hide from that instead, right? He couldn't play aggressively because they didn't peek into situations they know exactly where he's going to be peeking from, instead of being able to use the mirror. So because they were able to suppress him properly, then they had the fire that took down Waka. Yes, Waka got picked back up, but that cost them time. Time they used to go for the execute with the smoke, as well as throw down the other fire that trapped Waka into that one specific position.
10 seconds to go.
So it was down to not necessarily, I'm not saying Nora-Rengo had a great defense, I'm just saying Penta had a great execute that capitalized on any small mistakes made by Nora-Rengo. And I think, much like with Penta's defense on bar, they can look back on it, revise it, and do it successfully this time around.
Well, one revision they have made is Waka is no longer playing the Maestro. He swapped over to the Mute, probably in a direct attempt to combat enemy, getting his Twitch drone in there and completely screwing up the plan.
That'll do that.
So clearly, some reactions made on the side of Nora-Rengo. And
to be fair, also, he had the Evil Eye in a room they didn't even bother to go in.
Yeah.
So.
Evil Eye set up, and they weren't really gathering much intel either. There wasn't, okay, there's a guy peeking me from outside. Okay, you don't need to peek that. You're good. That's all the information you need off.
They all spawn outside, so.
Again, with the roaming game, top floor right now for Nora-Rengo. I'm not sure about the deployment. Looks like there's still 3 upstairs, and there are 3 upstairs, 2 on the objective, 1 person per bomb site downstairs between, I imagine, Ramu and Waka again, as the deployment upstairs seemed to be pretty hard set last time from Nora.
It's funny, they get rid of the Maestro who had the Evil Eye in this room, and now Penta's going to attack this room. They've left so much of the wall soft, though. This castle barricade is only going to slightly redirect them, because Serbos has a lot of wall to go through. There we go. Nice timing. Unfortunately, Scout, he doesn't find it the way through. Waka gets a free, not only Nitro kill, but a follow-up from his SMG-11.
Hungry in response will take down Ramu as he pushes in to Cubby. He has sight control, but Penta well aware of the retake potential upstairs. Enemy will rip through Mario, another one of a member trying to retake. It's just Waka alone behind the Sunrise bar right now as far as the objective is concerned, but the diffuser is still stranded outside. Waka will grab a 3rd. Raysil with a 4th on the round from Nora. It's all up to Hungry now on 25 HP. In behind the Cubby, going point blank against a shotgun, twisting on the wind with no direction to go. Raysil just spamming through the floorboards, trying to find a bare connection out of pure luck. Total rotate over now to the Cool Vibes doors. He's trying to isolate and go for these 1v1s. And he knows he has Waka in behind the bar. He's not EASing, he just sees him for a moment, and I don't know what that was.
A 4K, that's what it was for Waka.
Waka with a 4K as Nora-Rengo will take the lead once again.
Well, gotta say, the switch up from the Maestro to the Mute, absolutely working. Now, of course, in the case of old Mute, maybe not as much, because he would have been stuck with the MP5, wouldn't have been nearly as effective. Obviously, would have just been more about denying some of that push. But overall, the shotgun and the nitro cell and the SMG-11 combo worked out quite nice because he got kills with each that round. So fantastic 4K by him, as diametrically opposed to him just getting knocked down and somewhat useless in the previous round. So like I said, small adjustments, maybe not as many mistakes. They absolutely make it work the second time around. So, you know, both teams now on their second time around, their second swing around on the bar have done just fine. But in that case, Penta didn't necessarily need to switch how they attacked it, but they did so. Some of that was mistiming the skeleton key, hitting it just the wrong time, but also a well-thrown C4 by Waka. The deployable shield also did a great job of keeping him alive, much longer than it would have otherwise, because I think the Jackal might have been able to get a pick on him earlier had that deployable shield not been there.
Very smart reaction from Waka in behind the bar to immediately launch the nitro cell out as soon as that smoke bolt came out and he lost visibility. A lot of players in that situation probably just would have spammed the smoke or thought it was a bait. And honestly, that decision right there set the tone for the rest of the round for Nora to be able to bounce back. The second part of that is tacking on to what you just said about Penta not having to readjust their attack strategy. And that there was them clearly imagining that they've isolated a flaw in the Nora-Rengo setup and trying to exploit it for a much faster-paced, gut-wrenching round where you really want to throw it back in their face that, yeah, we are dominating you on this objective.
I honestly don't know if they would have had much more success even if Waka hadn't switched roles, because if you go for smoke like that, he would have had the evil eye right there to see right through it. I suppose the idea was that Buck with a skeleton key would have skeleton keyed, and while they would have been focused on looking at the smoke, he would have jumped over the bar with a skeleton key and taken down whoever was behind the bar. So I suppose that's not a bad plan, but it's still, the smoke itself wouldn't have done a whole lot in that case. It would have completely relied on Buck doing his job, which he unfortunately failed to do so due to timing. Ooh, that was a risky peek against the F2. I'm just waiting for the moment when enemy peeks us just correctly. So far, though, this ring around the rosy working in favor of the defenders.
It's just wasting a lot of time right now for Penta as enemy is just locked down in this engagement and not really ever present of any other initiative or mission to take, and that's kind of an issue right now considering he's flank hold, and his flank holding isn't doing a lot of flank holding right now. He's staring up at a window, and he's not really controlling the flow of the Nora-Rengo players, and hasn't been much of a nuisance either. Although we are only at the midway point, site execute is still a ways away. It's troubling, as you're going to have that guy in behind the desk for quite a long time.
This is what I was saying earlier about trying to flank that, right? When I was talking about the Clash pick.
Yeah.
Trying to flank is so hard because of someone doing exactly this. You cannot easily get in to hit the bathroom side. I mean, this is his job, is to try and do something about this lobby defense. And so far, what he's doing is, Waka just barely getting away with that.
Waka getting tapped from both sides now. Is hungry. It was like a lot of damage in return as he was the one blasting the rest of Waka's life away. But now Blaz pushing in through Hall of Fame will most likely find the life of Mario, who will fall. And now, explosions atop the most common rotate on coastline, but Ravon and enemy bounced back with 2 strong kills, and now it's Waka who's out in the Roman main lobby, who will turn his attention back towards enemy, and Racel alone on the objective, turning the corner inches away from the other side of the wall, but firing blindly through the smoke was enough to down Officer Boss, and another one for Racel! Oh my, 2 consecutive shotgun kills, but he hits the deck in perfect line with the ACOG of enemies F2, and that'll be Penta again, equalizing. This back and forth match seemingly will never end.
It certainly is heading that direction. I suppose it's good that there's no draws, as someone eventually has to win. One way or another on this, we didn't actually get to overtime last map. It got right to the very last round before overtime. In this case, though, it's starting to look more likely because we saw a bit more of a swing on the other side when sides switched. on Oregon, but we're not seeing that here. We're seeing this, again, like you said, back and forth, back and forth. Neither team wanting to play penthouse, just bar, kitchen, and hookah, and here's that hookah defense coming out. So will we see a very different attack here come out from Penta, or will it just be, again, that back and forth sort of thing happening? Hard to say. I mean, I would like to see some variety here on the push, but we have seen both attempts in terms of whether or not they're deciding to make plants from one side or the other, how they're pushing for their attacks. They do have the Capita, which I can imagine is combined with Hungry's Jackal to make sure they can smoke everything out. But that also depends on Blaz to take out the Evilized Papilla so that it's not easily just seen through. Of course, the nice thing is it will smoke out the Black Mirrors to make sure that he's not able to do anything from there, but it doesn't necessarily stop C4s from coming out to counter you. Also, something to keep in mind is Ramu can throw those Grisbot mines to potentially stop the defuse plant, knowing that they're going to plant on default spot, even through the smoke, because the smoke will cover him also throwing those out, because they're not running with the glass or anything on attack that can also see through smoke. So it could, you know, much as with holes, work both ways.
Find ourselves level for probably the 50th time in this matchup in this best of 3 on map number 2. Just a refresher for anyone who wasn't around, it was a 7-5 victory for Penta on Oregon, and now we find ourselves at a 5-5 near stalemate, back and forth. One team gets around, the other one responds right back with one of their own. So a 5-5 scoreline on Coastline, which is map number 2. This is the Group D and the overall group stage finale. This is the last game in groups. We have 7 teams who have qualified for main stage as Mario will rip through Sir Boss. We have 7 teams in the bleachers. One of these teams will join the bleachers and one of these teams will join the main stage crew. Sir Boss losing his life early, though, is not going to help things for Mario in behind the billiards bar, as this Hookah billiards defense from Nora is a first for them, but not the first we've seen this game.
Well, if Sir Boss was the problem on droning, now at least he can watch drones that are left over from the other players, do some work from there, but the lost grenades are, I would say, the biggest problem of losing him now. While the Skeleton Key is very useful, especially if he was going to push from below, it's the grenades more than anything else that are the problem. There is a Jaeger, though, but I imagine they could easily take that out with quite a few flashbangs and other utility. Although I do wonder what enemy is carrying. Mario having some trouble standing still, it seems. There's the smoke.
Coming out from Ravon as the diffuser comes in hand. Mario taking a little bit of damage behind that bar now, and Waka will shoot right through Hungary, though. A 5v3 for Nora-Rengo to hold out, and members of Penta just getting caught out. Solo missions not going well. As it was Sir Boss and Hungary both alone with no one in purview to attempt a refrag, and now we come into the dying minute of the round. Blaz will take down Ramu, and there goes enemy with another bounce back from the both of them. Taking down Waka, we level at 3v3, but no, Mario in response will drop Revan as he pushes out into Aquarium. Loss of diffuser control now for Penta, and a 2v3 for Blaz and enemy to work their way out of.
Well, the back and forth continues here. Mario is at half health, so this is a half a man advantage, but it's a Jaeger of all things, and they're definitely not something you want to test with in a fight. Blaz, however, still being alive could mean some aggression, but he doesn't have any breaches left, just flashbangs, which in the pinch, if there's no ADSs, will be enough to help him potentially win a firefight. Although now it's up to him to win all the firefights left against the last 3, and flashing himself, not going to help with that.
15 seconds remaining.
He's able to take down Papilla, though, who is also full blind, but no diffuser control and a full rotate down below. Looks like Raycell might have a Nitro Cell. Oh, prepped in the doorway, and it just misses. So there goes the only Nitro Cell that could have denied plant from below. Now, it looks like they do have a camera in sight, though, because they're shotgunning right below, and here comes Mario on the return. Match point for Nora-Rengo on map number 2. They are 1 round away from sending it to border. Penta on their back foot, but still have that 1 map buffer.
Well, if we continue the back and forth, unfortunately that means an overtime and not a win for either of these teams. But either way, so it either goes to overtime or map 3. So either way, this is definitely not close to over yet. But which way will it swing is the big question, because if it swings to overtime, then that's still a possibility that Penta closes out on map 2, and we do not see border. But again, even if we see border, that is a map that does favor Penta, so this is still continuing to potentially lead towards Penta. But Nora-Rengo just need to play the smart on their last defense here and just not give away anything to Penta. read into any aggression, let them come into you, play your all advantages that you have. But I believe Penta, in the meantime, taking a tactical timeout to make sure they could take this to overtime and don't have to play border, potentially. So good use of that tactical timeout to make sure to do so, but still, it's going to be a tough battle. Waka, again, potentially considering the Maestro, which I know you can't see on your screen right now. I thought I'd let you know he is thinking about that. Something that didn't work out too great for him. I think the mute, which Ramu is currently on, did work out quite a bit better for him. You never know. Ramu actually going to switch, but maybe we'll 6 pick over to that mute. For a bar defense, again, like we said before, no one wanting to bother with Penthouse. There's that 6 pick. But enemy also going to seek 6 pick of his own. Is it going to be over to Twitch to be able to potentially open up mirrors again, which will not be there? No, a thermite pick. This is an interesting lineup from Penta, a bit different than what they've been running previously.
Curious decision, as the sites they've been attacking haven't required a hard breacher, as they haven't been bringing one at all, and they've been doing okay. Right now we
this is a map you don't need one.
Right now we stand at a 6-5 split, actually, right now for the defender favor, which is the same as the scoreline.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
They've been back and forth, man, and Penta bringing the Finca as well, just, again, telegraphs to me that they're going to try and expedite things and bring a little more aggression. And man, are Nora-Rengo good at repelling the aggression, though. It's when, honestly, the best example of a round on attack from Penta for me is the first time they attacked this objective. Not the second time where they tried to bum rush it in through the Sunrise entrance. The first time where they played their progressions. First step, clear roam. Second step, watch flank. Third step, slight execute. By the time they were in step 3, it was a 5v2.
Yeah, and that was good utility usage as well with the smoke and the fire, leading to them actually pressuring for the execute rather than just slogging it out in gunfights. And that's the important thing, is to make sure that they were able to actually turn all those previous steps into that execute. But that requires having the time to do so, right? You've got to execute those previous steps with efficiency to have that left over. They have some utility to do so, but yeah, they're running a very different lineup. It just makes you wonder, is that going to work? Because I don't know what value they're necessarily going to get out of the thermite in that, unless they're pressuring from the other side. But here we go. There's some boosts coming out to try and help speed up this execute, but it doesn't really lead to much other than shooting out a default cam. So I guess there's that. They've got all these castle barricades to just slow them down.
Yeah, and it's definitely a bluff of a defense upstairs right now. Nora-Rengo not expanding out for that map control this time around. The first time, like I said, it got dismantled with ease. The second time, it was crucial in providing a retake scenario because everyone at Penta just rushed site. So I imagine Nora-Rengo, understanding the predicament they are in, if they tried to go for a third attempt of 3 roamers topside. The last time they tried to retake against a proper take of this site, it did not end well, and Penta kind of blasted them into the stratosphere. And a Jackal ping for enemy should pop up on the middle of the Lambo door, unless it just expired, which is the most unfortunate thing in the world.
Oh, that enemy could have had a free kill too, because he was at an angle. Had it pinged that one last time, probably would have been a free kill.
Probably would have completely domed him off the face of the earth, and that would have been a great start. Papilia has no actual clue how lucky the man is.
Yeah, that was a little risky being that close to the door with that ping. I think he was hoping someone was going to push him from the white stairs, which is what Blast is doing right now. Potentially, nope, he turns around. This is I would say this is working out very, very well for Nora-Rengo. Not in just that they have 5 people alive, but the amount of time burned was so little gained for Penta.
Penta seems so indecisive at even making a single move right now. Like, you've had office control for about 2 minutes.
They look confused, if anything else. Yeah. What is this setup? What do we do about it? And there's something you can do about it, thankfully. But a little late to be getting anything done. You still lost half your health in the process.
20 seconds left.
Oh, man.
They're going to use the second adrenal surge. They all start soaring in. Ravon's going to get chopped up from the kill holes above. Rushing straight through. This might actually avoid the Nitrocell, but 3 kills for Nora-Rengo. Leaves Sir Boss and Hungry alone, and it's just Hungry trying to plant against the mirror wall. Barring the most incredible comeback of all time, which won't happen, ladies and gentlemen, we go to border.
Well, map 3 it is, and what I think we all saw coming. However, it is worth noting that neither of these two maps went to overtime. They all just went to exactly 12 rounds due to the back and forth, especially the 3-3